On behalf of the Bonaire Future Forum, I'm going to try to offer you a StemWijzer or a voting guide for these upcoming elections. Let's start with this point, which is you and the choice that you have to first make. The first choice you have to make is, do you vote or do you not vote? If you believe that the political system in Bonaire is reasonable, that your opinion matters, that the approaches for the elections are legitimate, the elections themselves matter, your vote counts, and democracy in general works, then you should vote. Of course, if you're not happy with any of the parties that are running, you can also cast a blank vote. However, if you believe that the system is corrupt, it's all a fraud, it's illegitimate, it's been fixed, your vote really doesn't count, and there really is no democracy on Bonaire, then fair enough. In principle, you can choose not to vote or cast a blank vote here also. Of course, if you don't vote, there's nothing to discuss, and you can stay home. If you do vote, then we have a couple of thoughts to keep in mind. There are 6 parties that are running for election. There is M21, the Movimento 21, or the Pink Party. There's PDB, Partido Democrático Bonaireano, the Red Party. There's one UPAB, Un Unión pa Pueblo Bonaireano. There's URB, Union Revolution Bonaireano. The MPB, Movimento de Pueblo Bonaireano, the Blue Party. And UPB or UPB, the Union Patriótico Bonaireano, which is the Green Party. Currently, these 2 parties, the Pink Party and the Red Party, are in the opposition. The Blue Party and the Green Party are part of a governing coalition. So these guys are currently in office, these are opposition, and these 2 parties are minor parties that have not been elected. And I might focus my attention mostly on the 4 parties that are currently either in opposition or in the governing coalition. Now, if you are generally displeased with the direction in which Bonaire is heading, then you should go with the opposition, which is M21 and PDB, the pink and the red parties. On the other hand, if you're generally pleased in the direction that Bonaire is heading, then you should go with the governing coalition, which is the blue and the green parties. Within the governing coalition, these 2 parties have split their portfolios. So you can also go and look at what is in their portfolio and decide if you are pleased with what is going on for the item for which this particular party is responsible. For example, if you're generally happy with economic development, tourism, education, finance, culture, animal issues, youth, health, technology, family issues, facility management, communications, etc., then the credit for that should go to the Blue Party or MPB. So if you're pleased with these issues, then you should support MPB. If you are pleased with how spatial development is working on the island, how traffic and transport is working, how sports, agriculture, animal husbandry, environment, nature, fisheries, the housing, and the lottery are working on the island, if you're generally pleased with these issues, then you should support the UPB party. So here you have specific portfolios on which you are either pleased or upset, and you can decide to support or not support one of the governing parties. Of course, the opposition party does not have portfolios because it is in opposition. They are not making policy. They are, by definition, in opposition. So they are opposing what the government is doing generally. They often say no, and they end up exposing some of what they see to be the mistakes being made by the governing coalition. When you look through the mandates and the portfolios and the election manifestos for the 4 parties, you find a lot in common. So it's a little bit hard. They promise pretty much everything, and there's very little trade-off that is offered, and priorities are not. It's a laundry list of things that everybody would support, caring about the Bonaireans, caring about employment, caring about the environment, caring about nature, caring about development, growth, economy. So all of them, of course, say all the right things. They do not offer a prioritization, and they don't offer trade-offs, and that's what makes it a bit difficult. So there are some very simplistic generalizations that I've done for helping you uh, look at each of these parties. So let's start with, on this side, with the pink party. The pink party is basically M21 that is saying, look, you can't trust the old guard. The problems that you see are the result of all of these players who've been in government. What you really need is a bunch of new faces. And in us, in M21, you have a fresh group of people led by a woman who's a leader. So that's their sort of one of their core points. The PDB, the Red Party, basically says, look, you know us, we've been involved in the government for a long time. We warned you that you can't really trust this coalition. And the way to take back Bonaire is to give us a majority of the executive council, of the island council. And we also have a long family history of being involved in the island, so it's not like we are new on the block. You know us. MPB, the Blue Party, basically says we are a party of growth, but we believe in professionalism in government. We think that what we have done has brought trust with the Hague, and that as a result, we've got funds from them because we've managed to keep a stable government for the last few years and made some predictability in the running of government. And so, trust us to be able to grow Bonaire in a responsible and professional manner while keeping a good relationship with the Hague and getting funds for us. And of course, we also have some new leaders that are emerging in our party. And so you can also see that we are not just depending on the old guard. UPB, the Green Party, argues that, look, we are the ones who actually brought you this new relationship with the Netherlands, and that the growth that you're seeing is the result of the foundation that we laid. And we should, of course, get credit for that. We deliver, we don't just talk. We have political leaders, and we don't just deal in bureaucracies and bureaucrats. We actually provide a vision and a direction for the island, and trust us to continue doing the good work that we've done in the past. So that's sort of a generalization. Of course, there's a lot of details, but generalization about M21, PDB, MB, and UPB, the pink, red, blue, and green parties. So in summary, the first thing you have to decide is you're going to vote or not vote. Once you've decided whether you're voting or you're not voting, if you're generally displeased with the direction of things, then you should go with the opposition parties, the pink and the red parties. If you're generally pleased with the direction in which things are going, then you go with the blue or the green parties, MPB and UPB. And then within, if you're going with the governing coalition, this is the trade-offs that you have here. If you decide that you are not pleased with the way things are going and you want to go for the opposition, then you have these choices here. So I hope this has been somewhat helpful, and I wish you good decisions for the upcoming elections.